to the Knitting Game and other stuff. Today is December 31st, 2013. I'm recording a few days late. I had some technical difficulties yesterday, so here I am today. Some of you may have already seen the show notes, so surprise! I'm going to talk about what I posted yesterday. I am Pixie Knits. I'm Leslie, your host, and I want to say hello to all my new viewers if you're new, and thank you for my returning viewers for coming back one more week. We've had some introductions the past few weeks, and it's been really nice to hear that folks, even though they've been lurking for quite some time, do enjoy the show, and I know you guys are out there, so that's wonderful. We've had a recent rash of joinees to the group the last couple of weeks, because I didn't record last week either. So we have something like 211 folks in the Ravelry group now. That is where I'm posting the show notes now. You can get there through Ravelry. I will also have a link in the blog post to the Ravelry post and vice versa. So if you want to watch the show, you can get there from Ravelry, and if you want to see the show notes, you can get there from the blog post. So the blog, if you're not already there, is myordinaryjourney.com, all one word. I recently refreshed the look and feel of the blog, so it might be new for folks that haven't been there recently. So anyway, moving on. We had quite a week this past couple weeks for folks joining up, so I would first off like to welcome Heather J818, and that's Heather. Not to be confused with Heather219, who is also Heather. Then Lizzie Lefty, Liz, One Who Knits, Shirley, and Rosemary Realm, which is Rebecca. And if you guys are wondering why I look down when I say the names or read anything, it's because right now the way I have things set up, and maybe I'll take a picture, which is actually kind of a neat idea. I'm going to stretch back here and I'm going to grab my phone. And I'm going to Instagram right now what it looks like when I am recording, so you guys can see how blinded I am by my setup. So that's kind of funny, right? So now you'll know to go to see Instagram. But I have the camera up above my monitor, and I have my monitor with all my show notes on them, and then I've got two very large cameras, lights in my eyes. Then I have the one behind me to give me some black light. Then I have a light that's a ceiling fan light up here, and I'm toying with an idea of turning this light on, but I think that would throw things kind of out of whack. So let's see. I will post that after the show. So that's why I look down when I read. Alright, so birthdays. We have a bunch of babies. The last week of December, first week of January. All these New Year's babies, Christmas babies. It's like, you guys just are awesome. So we've got Fuzzy Anna, and that's Teresa. And then Knitting Lady 54, and that's Gwen. Alan Missy 2005, Missy. Crochet Lily, Rebecca. My twin, who's not my twin, Polly Jean, Paula. Memphis Holly, Holly. And I swear every time I see your name, I just, for some reason, I know it's Memphis Holly. I keep wanting to say Memphis Sholey. Haha, I know, I'm goofy. But Memphis Holly, happy birthday. Then Half Faith, Karen. One Who Knits, Shirley, and Rosemary Realm, Rebecca. One Who Knits and Rosemary Realm, Shirley and Rebecca, you guys join on a great week, because not only did you get the hi and welcome to the podcast group, you also got your birthday wish too. So that's kind of fun. Alright, so I'm going to roll into the next part of the show, because this is going to take a little bit of time, I think. I don't know, I haven't timed it, so we'll go. So So I want to show Christmas goodies. So the first thing I want to show is actually from my charm bracelet. Now this bracelet I got last year when my husband and I, we went on a cruise. We went on an Alaskan cruise to Alaska. It was a Disney cruise. So he bought me this bracelet, and I have a bunch of charms that remind me, you know, there's the Mickey head, and then the blue one that looks like a glacier, and this is a little whale's tail. This one looks like the Aurora, and this is the little cruise ship, and it's a little Disney cruise ship, and you can see a little Disney head. And I like this one because it screws and it locks the other charms onto the bracelet, so I don't worry about losing them. Well, for Christmas, my husband and I mentioned this a while ago. If he could find me knitting charms or something that represents my love and passion for fiber and knitting, I would love it. So he got me this little charm. I don't know if you can see it. It wobbles, and I don't want to cover it up with my fingers. You know what? And I also Instagrammed it, so I might grab the photo and put it on here too. But it's a little ball of yarn with two little straight knitting needles sticking out of the end. So I have my knitting charm, and that was from my husband. So I wanted to show that one, and I put my bracelet on even though it makes noise because I wanted to remember that I had that. So I will take that off for the rest of the show so it's not distracting. Okay, so some of the other things I received. So he got me some books, and the first one is Creative Effects in Knitting. It's called Op Art Socks, and this is by Interweave, published by Interweave. And all of the socks in this book have some sort of optical illusion associated with them. So that is kind of different and neat. I didn't have this book, so that was a really special surprise. And I am planning, and I've already purchased, and you'll see in my stash enhancements, the yarn to do this sock. It is called the Yakov, and I think that's really cool, the undulating color. That always, I guess, optical illusion is it makes you think you're looking at circles, but you're not. It's the way your brain connects the dots, basically. So I am going to knit Yakov here in the not too distant future. I have another pair of socks I have to get to, and I will talk about that in a minute. So I'm going to set that over aside. And then he also picked up this book. It's called Mastering Color Knitting by Melissa Liebman. And he bought this for me because he knows that I'm getting into designing, and he noticed that I didn't have a lot of color work that I did. So he picked this up for me because he thought that would help in my future endeavors as a designer. So I thought that was pretty special too. So he has bought so many knitting books for me over the past 3 years that whenever a new one pops up on Amazon, he gets the alert, not me. So he knows when all the new knitting books are coming out. Like, I think he bought me the Cast On, Cast Off book, which is really nice. He bought me Knit to Flatter. You know, he just does a really good job. Alright, so I wanted to show you. This is not a knitting present, but I just couldn't get over this one. So, I don't collect things. I don't do spoons. I don't do thimbles. The closest I come is yarn, maybe fabric, and then the charms on my charm bracelet. That's about it. The biggest thing being the yarn. But I can honestly say now that I am really into the White House Christmas ornaments, and they've only been producing them since 1989 or 1981 is the first year that they did them. And I was really worried that this year I wasn't going to get my ornament because the lady that I buy them from, her son is no longer in the youth group because he's older, and she used to run it, and at her church. So I was really panicked that I wasn't going to get my ornament, not charm, this year. But Jason, he went out and he figured out that if you go to the White House Historical Society, not only can you buy the ornament for this year, but you can also buy all of the ornaments for the past years. So my mother-in-law realized that I had been talking about it, so she went out and she found me this ornament. It is from 1999, and it is the Abe Lincoln ornament. And what is significant about this one, and because 1990, neither one of my kids were born in 99, we didn't get married in 99, we didn't, well, I PCS to Korea in 99, but that's, yeah. The reason why she bought this for me is because last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago, the Friday before Christmas, we actually went and saw Christmas Carol at Ford's Theater, and we were maybe 20 yards, if that, from the box where President Lincoln was shot, and they have like the memorial for him there. And that was such an experience. Not only was it a wonderful historic sight, but the play that night was just, it was so wonderful. So it was myself, my husband, my daughter, and my mother-in-law. We went and saw Christmas Carol at Ford's Theater. So I wanted to share because that was kind of cool. And who thinks of the White House ornaments? I don't know if they're a big thing in the other parts of the country, but being here and that we're so close and it's all about government and everything here, it's kind of my thing. It's kind of cool. All right. So the last bit I'm going to show you for Christmas presents. Y'all are going to chuckle. I'll tell you what. So our family has this history, and your family might do this too, where we like to gag gift each other. I can't tell you how many weird watches my husband's gotten from my brother-in-law, and usually that's how it goes. So my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law's, my husband's sister's husband, my brother-in-law, will buy my husband something kind of techy and wacky and goofy. This year he got the toilet bowl mug. It was pretty apropos for his office. Then my husband got him the Schrodinger's cat executive decision making tool. So basically you ask the question, and if you open the window and the cat is alive, it's a yes, and if you open the window and the cat is dead, it's a no. If you've ever watched The Big Bang Theory or know anything about physics, you'll understand the joke. So that's kind of where we go with this. So my sister-in-law, the thing is she thinks this was a gag gift. Little does she know, I will actually probably use this stuff, and she has no clue. So the first thing that I opened was the handy dandy pocket guide of Knitting for Dummies. Yes, Knitting for Dummies. But you never know. Sometimes there's just that one little thing, you know, like how to make a tassel. Seriously, I wouldn't have known that, and here it is, how to make a tassel. So even though I knit quite a bit, ha ha ha, this can come in handy. So Knitting for Dummies, the pocket guide, so that can go in my knitting bag. Then from Red Heart, it's Knitting Made Easy. It includes 9 projects. So scarves, fingerless mitts, baby hats, blankets, socks, an Afghan, and some pillows. It is beginner basics, illustrated stitches, updated techniques from your friends at Red Heart. Everybody loves their Red Heart. And the thing she thought was going to be the biggest gag of all, little does she know, was the, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this, the Style Me Up knitting loom for the romantic scarf. So yeah, and it comes with, it's for 8 and up. It's got all sorts of projects and how-tos, but little does she know, I probably will actually use this to do a scarf for her. So she gave me some yarn last year, and if you're watching, Barbara, I'm sorry you might get wind of this early, but she got me some Noro yarn last year for Christmas, and I didn't really know what to do with it until now. I'm going to loom knit her a scarf special with the yarn that she bought me last year, and it has some of her colors in it. It's kind of pink and everything like that, so I think that's kind of funny but not, so the gag's on her really because I'll actually use it. Alright, so that was my general chit chat. I think I covered everything. Although one thing I did notice is when I was doing up the show notes yesterday and I wanted to get my project pages up to date, because some of the stash that I bought purposefully to use for projects that I already started was, for some reason, and I don't know how this happened, I did not photograph my purchases from Maryland Sheep and Wool or from Zombie Knitpocalypse, because I went to go start my Captain Tight pants, my zipper-lawn socks, because I haven't even started those yet. I just caked up the yarn, and I didn't have a picture for it already in my stash. I was like, wait, that's kind of odd. So yeah, I have to go back, and I'll probably do that tomorrow, and photograph my stash and get my stash page up to date, because I haven't done that. Alright, so, oh, and some cute thing, I say cute, I don't know if they're cute or not. I wanted to share with you guys the pieces that I had put in the 6x6x6 show at the Liberty Town Arts Workshop. So I wanted to share those with you. So what I did is they're just little mini skeins, and I put them in these are baseball display cubes, and I don't know if you can see this. This is my little fishes yarn that I did with the gold thread and the blue beads, so I called this one Blue Baubles. I made the exotic draped ruffle scarf with this. And then I have, this is some coarse spun art yarn. It's a very bulky. This was from Hobbledehoy, and it was an art bat that I picked up at Maryland Sheep and Wool. And this is kind of like my first play with the coarse spun art yarn. And then this one is from some Rolags that I got from Green Mountain Fibers, I believe. And it's just like greens, purples. I have no idea if you're getting a reflection off of the baseball cube or not, if you can see that. The really hard part of doing these mini skeins in these boxes like this is keeping them so they'll stay up straight, so they won't sag. And the art is in how you place the toothpicks in here, because that's how, I guess you could also use bamboo kebab skewers, but all I had was toothpicks at the time, so that's what I used. So I just wanted to share with you guys those with you guys, and if you would be interested in purchasing them, just let me know and I'll put them up on the Etsy shop. And you, I don't know, $10 plus free shipping. I don't know. We'll see. Just let me know and we'll figure something out. So that's it for the chit chats and announcements. Gotta update my stash. Alright, so the knitting game. Obviously there's no winner, there's no voting. I haven't started anything. I have nothing in progress. And I can't really say the Zipper Lex, I want to say Lexapro, that's not right. Bunnyfish, Heather, she's the one that suggested the pattern and won. So that's the one I'm going to knit with my Captain Tight pants. But I haven't actually gotten that one done and started yet. So that'll be next up. The next project I start. Maybe. It'll be one of the next ones I start. So there's no knitting game to go into the new year. We are going to go into the new year fresh and clean with nothing outstanding, I guess. But, alright, moving on to the other stuff. Knitting. I have had a glorious week of not having to go into work, and I sleep till I wake up, and it's wonderful. Today I even went to have lunch with my husband and some of his co-workers, so that was really fantabulous. So what have I been working on? Excuse the top of my head. Well, as you can see, the big sweater bag is out. So that must mean I'm working on a sweater, and you would be correct. So I have picked back up and have been knocking out my Rocky Coast. So let me put this down. All right, it's huge. I am a big girl, so this is a big sweater. So I want to unravel it here without actually unraveling everything. So the last time you guys saw this sweater, I was working on the ribbing where that blue stitch marker is. Obviously I finished the ribbing. So I've moved on to the sleeve. This is what I've done in like 3 days. Well, I had started working on the sleeve, I guess, but I never showed you guys. And I was telling you, I was feeling very intimidated about how the sleeve was going. I didn't feel that they were going well, and I was very discouraged. So I just stopped. And I guess that was good, because then when I came back and I reread the instructions and everything, I'm like, oh, I don't have to, I just decrease until I hit a certain number of stitches, and I decrease on these rounds. Oh, okay, I can remember to do that. Not hard at all. So it's like 2 decreases per stitch repeat. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I think I may shorten the sleeves up a little bit. The way the pattern is written, the sleeves come to an end kind of right here at the bone in your wrist, and I think I want to take the sleeves up a little bit, kind of 3/4 length sleeves. So right about here is where I want the end of the sleeve to hit me, which means I need to start the ribbing right after this hunk of muscle, whatever this muscle is here in your forearm. Once I get past this little muscle here, the rest will be like 3.5 inches of ribbing. So I'm very close. The sweater hits me right here, kind of in the crease of the elbow, a little bit south. So I only have like 1 more repeat of the stitch pattern to do before I start the ribbing. Hence the fact, if you saw me on Instagram, I just Instagrammed a picture of the needle chaos that I had, and I needed to find my smaller, I think it's size 9 needles that I need for the cuff to do the ribbing in, I think. So I have to go back and check that too. But yeah, I needed to make sure I had my size 9s available to do that, and I think I'm going to have to use my size 9s from my knit pick set and from my Chow Goose, because I don't have a long enough or a short enough circular to do size 9s, and I don't have double points. I don't really like them, so I don't have them. One thing I'm missing is my size 7 Chow Goose. Interchangeable, and a cord is with them. I have no idea what project they are associated with and where they have ended up someplace. So I have to find those, and that's the only set of needles I'm missing. I have everybody else. All is well and accounted for, but I don't have those. So I don't know where they have gone. Sorry for the clinking of the needles. So that is something that I have taken out of hibernation, which is fun because I've started to work on that again. So what else have I been working on? So let's see. I started the Mini Mania scarf, and of course it's linked in the show notes, but that is by Sarah Core. And am I in the middle? Oh, I really hope I wasn't in the middle of any. I wasn't. Surprise! So I'm knitting these. The pattern calls for US size 6s, and like a dope, I didn't actually read the pattern before I started, because I was going to DC, I knew I was going to be done with my Rings of Love gloves, and I didn't want to have nothing to work on my way back from DC the Saturday before Christmas. So I just threw all these little like leftover sock yarn scrappies into my zombie zombie bag, and just threw them in there. And I have a really long cable for these size 2s, and I just started. I cast it on as many stitches as I thought could fit, and the yarn actually started. I did the long tail short tail cast on, so I used 2 different yarns for my long tail cast on, so I didn't have to pre-measure out like however many stinking yards I needed for the long tail cast on. So I just kept going and going and going. So, and then I started. Then I read, oh, I'm supposed to be doing these on, yeah, size 6. I guess to give it a little bit more drape. But I think this will be fine for a scarf. So I don't know if you can see here hanging off at the bottom is the blue, and that is the icicle from Wild Hair Fiber Arts, Wild Hair Fiber Studio. And that's the second yarn that I used for the long tail short tail cast on. This major honk of green, which I did not realize was going to be so large when I started, is Leading Man Fiber Arts. It's the Poseidon colorway. So you guys should recognize that from my Poseidon Second Job scarf. Then this top one that I finally transitioned to is Diabolical, and this is what I knit my oh, I can't remember the name of that scarf. It was one of the winners of the knitting game. Oh, I'm so bad. Well, you know what? I'm sitting here in front of my computer, and I know I have a thing for it. My Vittorio. This is what I knit my Vittorio out of. So I'm only on the really second phase, and I'm hoping it's long enough. As you can see, it ruffles up quite a bit, and it is scrunched up on the needles. And when you pull it, you know, when you stretch it, it does have some stretch to it. So I'm hoping between the ruffling and the fact that the scarf will stretch and when it comes off the needles, that it will grow. So I'm working on this. This is like mindless train knitting, car knitting, that sort of thing. The other thing I've been working on and that I cast on, and what I actually went to the yarn or Joann's for the other day, and I have yarn stash for. I have a friend that is a huge Redskins fan, and we all know the Redskins have not had a great year. I am not a Redskins fan, but there are a lot of fans up here. So he's been very supportive when I was knitting my Rings of Love gloves. He was like, oh, that's like, wow. So I went ahead and picked up some yarn, and I'm starting some just basic gloves for my friend, and they're in gold and red. So I did the cuff in gold. I'm going to do the hand and thumb gusset in the red, and then the burgundy, and then I'm going to do the fingers in gold. And for the other glove, I'm going to reverse it. So I'm using for this the Patton's Classic Wool DK Superwash in gold and Carlette, I think is what it is called. So this is what the gold looks like in a ball, and this is what the red or burgundy and gold look like. So that actually is a good transition, and I am knitting these on, like, they're size 2s. One is a high, I think they're both high-highs, but they were like some, oh yeah, they're both high-highs. So I do have some high-highs laying around So that's what those are. But it was a great transition into stash enhancements. So I don't know that I'll need both. I bought 2 skeins of each. I don't know if I'll need both, but I have them in each color in case I do. So I got these from Joann's. No, not a real big outlay there on a purchase. Then to go with my optical illusion socks, I picked these up, the Croy sock, the Patton's Croy sock FX. So I'm going to use these, and I'm going to go from different points in the sock and see what happens. I don't know if there's going to be enough contrast, but I think it'll be kind of neat. And because I like this so much, see, I've already knit a sock out of this. And it was the first sock that I ever knit for myself, and I did not know that the bind off at the top, because I did toe-up socks, did not know that the bind off needed to be like the sewn bind off or like a stretchy bind off. So when I bound them off, I couldn't get them over my heel because they couldn't stretch. I was so sad. So this will be my second attempt at knitting something in this colorway. This is the Clover colors. So I have that, and then I picked up the this is called Cascade colors. Same, it's the FX again, Croy sock, but it's a little bit different colors and cool colors. Thought that would be nice. You know, it's not the softest yarn, but it's going on my feet, right? I don't need it to be overly indulgent, right? It's the effect that I want for the pattern. The other stash that I actually got here yesterday, so I'm glad I had to wait a day to record, was I picked up one of the BAM kits from Lois, Knitting's My Bag. And I picked up the BAM kit number 14, and it was the Homage to No Two Snowflakes. So this is the yarn that came with the bag. This is Highland Handmaid's sugar maple sock. It's the 75 superwash wool and 25% nylon. And it's nice icy soft blues and hard blues. I have some spatters of blue. It's just kind of cool because it's like little speckles of blue, and then there's this one little place. Okay, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it at all. Between my 2 fingertips, there's this like really super powered shock of like midnight blue. So cool, because that's like my favorite blue color is that hot, just hot jewel blue, sapphire blue. It's beautiful. And it came with a beautiful little snowflake stitch marker, which was wonderful. And then the kit also came with some more stitch markers and a nice little keychain. And the bag, oh, it is so pretty. So it comes with a little handle, and it's got a drawstring, and it's got a little tab. How cool is this going to be for train knitting? Oh, so right now for the train, I use my Stockinette Zombies birthday kit bag because it's nice because I can hook it with a carabiner to the cup holder, and it just kind of hangs like this. So I can do something similar with this, so I don't have to wear out my zombie birthday bag because I don't want to do that. I like my zombie birthday bag. But everybody knows who I am because they see my zombie birthday bag and they're like, so what you knitting now? Everybody, I'm like this close to giving lessons on the train. There are a couple people have, you know, mentioned it. So, some other things, that was all the stash. So in timeout, I still have my first shawl, the shutdown socks, and the Downton Abbey Mystery KL from last year. So I still have them on the needles, and they're getting ready to start the second one. Oh well. Eventually they will get finished. I think those may actually go to my mother-in-law. If you're watching, Mom, surprise, right? And then I have Jason's first sweater is now my Sierra. So that pattern was gifted to me by Angela Beagle Mom Knitter, and it's one from Laura Ayler, which is one of her and Jared Flood. If you don't know who Laura Ayler is, she did the derecho. She's also done the Litchfield shawl. She had a really great coupon code last year where you can get one of her patterns for free, and I mean, it was a frenzy. She does the Fabergé shawl. She did the cream. It was like all the different English creams. It was like a recipe book. It was a pattern book. So Laura Ayler, love her. So I really want to do that sweater, and now that I'm like, I say I'm this close to finishing up the Rocky Coast, I really can feel it. You know, like the sleeve took me no time at all. If that's all I work on when I'm home, it really shouldn't take me more than another week or so. The ribbing on the front and the collar, that's the only place where I think that it might slow me down. But I've been cranking out some ribbing lately, so I don't think it'll be too bad as long as I just keep going, keep working. So I have a feeling that I have another sweater that's it's coursing. Another sweater is calling me, so I'm gonna have a cream one. The Sierra will be gray, and I have enough to do the geodesic cardigan. I have some Malabrigo in like a gold yellowy color. Although I might have to sacrifice that yarn in favor of a shawl. It is lace weight yarn. Yeah, and I'm a big girl, so it might take me like for eternity. And I know that my future sister-in-law, who's getting married in April, that's like her favorite color, and I was thinking of doing something for her for the wedding. Because I noticed at my sister's wedding in November, she wore a couple of different shawls. So I'm like, she's a shawl girl. She likes yellow. I have this yellow yarn. It's lace weight. It's Malabrigo. It's good stuff. So yeah, so I'm itching to get a good core set of sweater, because I looked and I need a special hanger. See, I'm wearing my Color Affection today. But I have so many like scarves and shawls right now. I was like, oh my gosh, I've really, over the last year, amassed quite a collection. So now I need sweaters. So yeah. Alright, so that's what's in timeout. So my first shawl, the Shutdown Socks, and then Downton Abbey Mystery KAL. I frogged the derby. The roller derby, I frogged it. I was not happy with the way it was coming out. I will redo it. I will start it over again. And I'll either weave in ends or just do the magic knot, and where the color breaks happen, the color breaks happen. You know, if it's at the beginning of the round, end of the round, middle of the round, I don't care. Alright, so on the bobbin, I'm going to move on to spinning, because I have done some spinning. I finished the second bobbin of the faux cashmere from Wild Hair Fiber Studios, and this is in the Sugar Maple colorway. And if I had enough time and energy and gumption and just crazy lunacy, I would pick up a full 2 pounds of this faux cashmere and spin it up and spin up a quantity, sweater quantity's worth, because it feels that wonderful. I would love to have a whole sweater in this stuff. The only problem is it pills when I just have it in my hand. I look at it and it goes poof, right? So I don't know how bad it would pill like under the arms, rubbing when you're walking or putting on clothes and stuff like that. So that would be the only thing I would worry about. But I do have a drum carder, and I could always card it with some other fiber to make it a little bit more substantial. So that's a thought, but I think it came out very well. I don't know if you can tell how thin it is. I ended with the reddish brown. I don't know where exactly it ended. So I'm not going to. I lied. I am going to. So the end is not very consistent. Not because I was getting fast with it, but it was getting kind of slubby, like from all the work with my. I try not to touch it as much as I can. So that's where some of the slubbiness and inconsistency comes from. So hopefully that's done nice. So this is the second of 3. I split it into thirds, and I'm spinning it as fine as I think I can. I could probably take that down much finer, but I worry about it breaking. So I don't have anything finished, but I do have a stash enhancement. So I got my December shipment from Into the World. This is called Dream Sequence. It is superwash merino, cashmere, and nylon. It's an 80-10-10 blend. And I am not one for these kind of like softer. This just screams like 1960s Star Trek alien planet set. Like where the blue, the pink and the purple are the sky, and you've got like the green here. I don't know, it just looks like an interplanetary skyscape to me. I don't know why. That's just what I think of. And I'm kind of really wanting to spin this up because it's fun looking. But I got that. Alright, so this has been a very, very long show. And I thank you for sticking it out with me. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful new year. I've been thinking about goals for 2014. And I think I want to finish 2 sweaters. And I'm not going to set any other goals than that. I want to finish 2 sweaters. Now, the fact that the Rocky Coast is going to be finished in 2014 counts. So I really only have to knit 1 full sweater, but I want to finish 2 in 2014. I have a feeling 2014 is going to be a really great year. I don't know, something about it. I'm sure we all start off every new year feeling that way, but that's just the way I feel. So no knitting game this week. Just enjoy your time off and time with family and festivities, and I hope to see you again next week. I will try to record on Sunday like usual and get that out there on the regular day, so it's gonna be a little, just a little time between recordings, between shows, but I guess you could call this a special edition. So alright guys, I hope you have a great new year. Love y'all. Bye.